Things I wish I knew before I started my in-home family childcare business. One of the things I wish I knew before I started was I wish I would have known not to take family members. Family members are going to be your biggest problem, like very, very toxic behavior. You're going to have them picking up late, you're going to have them paying late, you're going to have them possibly might not pick it up at all. They're asking about spending the night when you have your in-home business. So those are going to be the ones that's going to push your buttons and push you to the limits. Had I known that, I would not have taken family members. I've taken several family members. I've taken sisters' kids, brothers' kids, cousins' kids. I've had my nieces, my nephews. Uncles and aunts. So I've had them all, and honestly, out of all of them, probably one. I'm not kidding you, and I have a huge family that has really did everything I've ever asked. I'm sorry, two. So two. There's two. Everything I've ever asked, everything I've asked, they've done it. They was on point. I said two because one of them, they gotta test it out. But overall, out of everybody, I will say, yeah, I've had two. I wish I would have known when I opened up my family childcare business is knowing to take my time, not to try to rush. You don't need everything when you start out. You need the basics. Find out the basics, things that you're going to need when you open up your business. Do not go out there spending thousands of dollars to get started. Because if you're unsubsidized and you're taking subsidized, you're putting a month in a hole. That's something I did not know. So, yeah. So that, taking my time, not trying to rush everything, and learning to learn my craft, home in on my craft, learn about what it is that I want from my program, knowing what it is that I expect from my families. These things you can get basics. You can start off with a basic contract. You can start off with a basic family handbook. But as time goes by, I learned that there are some things that meant more to me than others. I've learned that I'm okay with this, but this is non-negotiable. I learned no matter what I put in this contract, when you sign your contract and you sign off that you approve and you're going to abide by the handbook, then I'm standing on that. I'm standing on it. So I set my rules, I set my boundaries, and I'm putting them into place. You're agreeing to it, and that's it. There's no going back on that. I wish I knew that when opening up a family childcare business, I should have been doing tours with all of my families. When I originally started with my family childcare home, basically the parents came, they see looked around at my home, and then they let me know if they wanted to fill out an application. They fill out an application. If they wanted to start, they had to pay a deposit. That's how I did. Sometimes the parents would come and they don't have the kids with them. Sometimes the parent would come and they had the kids with them. Sometimes I did tours. Well, at the time, every time I did a tour, it was during business hours. So now I do tours when the kids are not in the child care program. That way, when I schedule that appointment with you, I let you know that this is a full tour. We will be here for at least 30 to 45 minutes because I'm going over my handbook. I'm not only just showing you around the facility, I'm letting you know what I expect out of you and what you can expect out of me. So we have this exchange of dialogue. There's no rushing. There's no just coming, looking in the class and saying, oh, this is cute, and when can my child start? That's not how we do it. I show you the location, the facility, then we start talking, then we discuss whether or not this is going to be a good fit for you, as well as a good fit for me, and as well as a good fit for the child. So, and I recommend that they bring the children. Why? I want them to bring the children because I want to see how these parents interact with their children. I want to see how the kids interact with their parents. I want to see if mom says don't do this and little Johnny don't do it, how mom interact with their child. How do she respond to that? Do she immediately attend to it? Do she brush it off and be like, boy, you good, or whatever? I want to know that doing that tour. because we know kids going to act the way they normally act in front of their parents. They act totally different with us, but they know who they can get away with a lot of things with. So therefore, they're going to act so differently when they think they have that parent that's going to let them do what they do and not going to say anything to them. You need to see that ahead of time. So that's why I wish I would have known when I was doing my enrollment that I should have done a tour with the whole family, with all my families. And another thing I wish I would have did, I wish I would have been okay with saying we have a wait list and not accepting every child. When the parents come and do a tour, that is not just a tour for, like I said, not just for the families, but it's also for you as a provider. Me being a provider, I don't have to accept them because they want to accept me. And I know that's hard to hear, but it's true. You don't have to accept the families just because they came and did a tour. The tour was for your benefit as well. Another thing I wish I knew when I first opened up my family childcare home business is I wish I knew the signs of burnout and ways to self-care. These are some things that I learned along the way when working in the childcare industry, and it taught me that the signs for burnout is different for everybody. For me, my anxiety is going to be like on 10. I mean, way past 10. And if I don't take care of myself and I haven't recognized that the reason why I'm stressing, that the reason why I seem like a little on edge, or I feel like I'm out, brain fog all the time, then if I don't realize that those are my signs for me for being burned out, then I would be able to adjust myself a little bit more faster, or I would be able to make some types of self-care days, regulations. I would be able to make some type of plan for my self-care. And now I'm able to do that. Back then I wasn't, and I was getting so frustrated it got to the point to where I didn't know if this was still for me or not. I didn't know if I wanted to continue doing what I was doing or if it was time for something new. So I didn't know if it was time for me to start doing something new. So all those feelings and emotions that I was feeling and getting depressed, not liking my job, not knowing if I was good enough, all that was burnout. To me, that's what burnout looked like. Burnout also can look like when your body's tired, when you're constantly laying in the bed, when the weekends come and you don't have any kids, you're not open for the weekends, you sleep. You sleep the whole weekend, and then you feel bad about it. The next day you feel so guilt that now you're unproductive. Things that needs to be done are not getting done. And then you're going to feel bad about that as well. So you got to recognize the signs that are for you, the types of traits that you're portraying that you normally do not portray. So those are the things that you have to realize. And then once you realize it, you need to have an action plan in place that you're going to do on a regular to set you back and balance you. Whatever you need to do, whether it's taking a spa day, whether it's taking a vacation for the weekend, whether it's taking a walk, whether it's reading a book, doing yoga, doing, Zumba, going to a Zumba class, whatever it is to you, you need to plan and you need to put it into action. Another thing I wish I knew before I opened up my family childcare in-home business was I wish I knew to know my worth. And when I say that, I mean knowing that it was okay for me to know what I know, appreciate what I know, knowing the skills that I was capable of, knowing that I was loving, kind, and I was always forgiving. I was always ready to help and to assist. Knowing that with all of that, I also knew that I was worth being appreciated, that I was worth being supported, that I was worth being recognized. I hid in the back, and to myself, I knew I was this awesome person, but I hid in the back. And because of that, I allowed so much to happen to me that it changed me. And It changed me to bitterness. I was bitter. Not to my babies. Those was my joy. Those was my lifeline. But it changed me. Because when you give and give and give and give and people just take, they just take, and then you get tired, then you shut down. But because there is a God, and I know this, and I learned to accept my worth no matter what nobody says. I may act like I know everything all the time, but I don't. I'm just not okay with accepting I don't know. I don't know right now. But I'm going to find out, and I'm going to learn, and I'm going to share it. Not being ashamed to show myself, to stand on what I know is right and voicing my opinion. That does not need to be envied. So, know your worth. Make sure everybody else do too. And then learn when to let people go. Learn to say no. Nothing else behind it. Just no. Stop accepting any and everything from any and everybody. Make them appreciate you, or you leave. You don't have to explain anything. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to argue with anybody. Your presence is not wanted there. Don't take it there. Learn when it's time to let go and leave.